weekend. I return back to work tomorrow, but this past Saturday I had the opportunity to drive from Long Island to beautiful Connecticut to the Mohegan Sun. No, it wasn't for my usual running into a casino and blowing some money or hopefully winning some money, but I got to attend an event, MMA event. Mixed martial arts in the Mohegan Sun Arena to see fighter win his fight. Stunningly, he totally handled his business as I thought he should and he would. So we have Jesse on the line. Jesse, how you doing, brother?
Doing absolutely great, man. Really can't complain. Just had my fight over the weekend and success. Got the win, second round, rear naked choke, no injuries, so I'm good to go. I'm ready to fight the next fight. I already told Bellator, get me on another show ASAP.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, from just being there, and I know I understand Connecticut, and that's your hometown, dude. There was so much energy out there for the prelims. It was something I just totally didn't even expect. I was expecting kind of like a dead crowd, and it was like totally opposite. It's so different than what you see on TV as a fan.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was electric in there. I could feel the energy when I walked out. Everybody cheering, the lights, everything, bro. Like it was just a whole nother environment. I fought for Mohegan Sun multiple times, and every time I go there, I always sell a lot of tickets, so I always know I got a lot of support there. But this time it was definitely different, man. Everybody was there in support of the 203 Connecticut MMA. Everybody wants to see us, because there's so much talent in CT, man. A lot of people don't understand, but I train with some dogs in CT. Like I'll go over to like Massachusetts or another state and train, and I'll tell you what, like the people I train with right here in Connecticut are some of the toughest people in New England, hands down.
Big shout out to the person you faced off against. Definitely a show of gratitude and
Rodolfo Rocha.
Yes. I really appreciate. Like I said, I went there as a fan. Because like I said, I from a fan's perspective on TV, you watch it, you're like, man, this is great. There's a lot of energy, but you get into that arena, and then you look around and you're like, there's not an empty seat. What in the world's going on here? And all different types of folks are there. The event as a whole was crazy, but I got to tell you, a match, dude. From the ground game, from striking, just from wrestling, I saw all the different aspects of what you can do. And I was just like, man. So it was so funny because the Tango, big shout out to Tango, I shared some of the videos. I'm like, yo, the people behind me were going nuts. And I just couldn't, like I said, from a fan's perspective, I was like, dude, you really packed the house.
Yeah, man, I sold like $8,000 worth of tickets or something like that, so I knew I had a lot of support there. And not only that, there's a lot of people that know me from the area too, because I'm always fighting at every single show in Mohegan Sun. I fought for reality fighting like 4 times. Shout out to Kip Collar, Joe Cup. They've had me on their show multiple times, so I knew going in there I was going to be, probably like the favorite going into the show because, I'm like the hometown person. But to be honest, like it's no different. You know what I mean? If I'm fighting in, on enemy territory, if I'm fighting in a different state, different country, I'm still going there with the same purpose, and that's to get the W. You know what I mean? I'm going in and get the win. But absolutely, I would say the energy does play a role. It does help. The support obviously backs you. It fires you up and motivates you to want to get the win.
So tell me this much. At what point when you were in there, you were facing your opponent, that you knew you had it? Did you know from Jump Street, or did you know when it went into the second round?
When I go into any fight, I always go in saying, "Ain't no way this motherfucker is beating me." You know what I mean? I go in there and I'm fully convinced. You know, I like just you kind of battle in your head. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what if he does this, or oh, what if he does that? But eventually, when I walk in that cage is mine. When those doors close, I'm going in there, and every single round, I'm coming to get that W by any means necessary. You know what I mean? If I'm losing the fight, I'm gonna find a way to win. You know, it's like I'm solving a puzzle in my head, and when that puzzle's solved, you know, I'm getting that W. I would say that was really my mentality. But when I knew that I really like he was done, I would say by the second round I knew he was tired, so I knew that right there was going to be in my favor. But when I landed a huge elbow on his head. I postured up, I posted my hands on his wrist, and I turned my elbow over and ripped the elbow right alongside his temple, and it cut him open. When I split him open, I knew right there I could slip in a choke on his back because I took his back. I put a triangle around his back, and I knew that was squeezing him. When I was squeezing him, then I just wrapped my arm around his head, and that's all she wrote. So I would say right there after the elbow.
So Jesse, being a hometown boy, all right, tell me the level of pressure from the amount of seats that you sold, all the expectation, everything there. What was in the back of your mind before you came out for the actual match? So when you were in the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean the pressure does play a role because I got a lot of people that are talking about me all the time. I got a lot of people that message me all the time, tell me, oh, I hope you do good luck, blah blah. But I would say I kind of thrive under that pressure. I think that pressure makes me an even better fighter because going in there, I know what I'm in there for. I know I kind of go through my head and I'm like, I've been doing this so long. I'm a veteran. Like I'm an OG. I've been training since I was 4 years old. As far as I'm concerned, I only have 3 fights as a professional, but I feel like a veteran with 20 plus fights. When I'm going in there. So I knew going in there that I had the advantage in that sense.
So I'm looking at the regional rankings. You ranked number 8.
It says on Tapology that I'm a middleweight, though. I'm not a middleweight. I'm a welterweight. So I gotta call them. I don't know what the hell.
You gotta call them or get them on the phone. And I was like middleweight. I was like,
Yeah, apparently, just Tapology doesn't have their shit together. I gotta they got Sherdog too. So Sherdog, shout out to Sherdog for probably having their shit together. I think they have me listed as a welterweight. I don't know why Tapology's doing that. Because I am not a middleweight.
Got you. So tell me
what's difference.
So tell me what's next. Like is I mean I know you get immediately back there in training, but is it like do you and your team reach out to the Bellator management and say, hey, get me back in there? Because I saw what you said on social media, but if you can just pull back the curtains for our listeners, like from a fighter's perspective, what are the next steps? Like, hey, you won your match, you got everything going, you got this momentum going. Now, there's a couple of things. Either you can get booked immediately, or there could be somewhat of a wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna my next fight's definitely gonna be for Bellator. I can tell you that because I'm planning on getting signed. That's my plan. I want to get signed. I want to be part of the promotion. I mean, yeah. I'm not for nothing. My performance the other night was probably, besides my boy Justin Sumter. Shout out to Fort Sumter. He had a hell of a war himself. So I would say his fight or my fight were definitely by far the fight of the night. I watched a lot of the performances that night, and not a whole lot of them were as exciting as our fights. I would say because I split the dude open, I mean, I made somebody bleed more than anybody else bled that night, and I put on a performance, got a second round finish. I don't know what else more Bellator wants. I mean, they could they could test me, wherever the next show is. Give me another match in April, give me another match in June, wherever that's going to be. At least the 2-month camp, and I'm in there. So they can get me on the next show. Like I said, I'm healthy. I'm void of injuries. I'm ready. Just give me another shot.
So I gotta do a little bit of inside baseball here with you. So tell me, why were the prelims so great, and then like the main card was like, I don't want to say stunk up the joint, but the MVP versus Daly match, you heard the fans. Fans were just like, oh man, why was it that? I mean, I understand, I kind of get it, but you guys were willing to mix it up the minute the bell rang. And the matches on the later card, it was just the opposite.
That's the guys on the main card. They're not as hungry as us up and comers. They're up and comers. We really want to show what we're about. We want to be part of that stage. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like Bellator is crazy not to sign some of us, man. We're, especially as guys in Connecticut, man. We're on the come up. But me especially though, I've been training since I've been a little kid. You know what I mean? I'm ready for that stage. I've been on all these small shows, and I'm sick and tired of getting the pay of small shows. I need to start getting paid. I need to be on a bigger stage. Provide for myself, my family, everything. And this is what I'm in it for. I'm in it to get to the top, and one day become champion of the world. I know I'm already there. I just gotta get the opportunity to get the shot.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Valerie Laredo. I hope I pronounced her name. She was also on the card. She did a damn great job also.
Was that the who got the knockout?
Yes, she was the one who got the knockout.
Yeah, that was nice, dude. That was real nice.
That was nice. There was so much talent. There's so much talent that I'm just like, so like I think it was last night, I was watching a little UFC because I know they got to deal with ESPN. And I mean, the main event that there was the fighter, he's a fan favorite too, but he might be past his prime. I don't know if he snapped his knee last night. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh yeah, Cain Velasquez.
Right.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez. I mean, he got caught with that uppercut, and then all of a sudden he just dropped, and his knee definitely twisted. But at the same time, he got caught with that uppercut. So, to be honest, I feel like he was done either way. You know what I mean? First of all, Nagano's hands are bricks, and he's got top in every single shot. It doesn't matter what angle he's coming from. If he tags you, you're getting tagged. So that was definitely a dangerous fight for him. To be honest, I would have took Cain going into it if it was the Cain from 2, 3, 4 years ago when he wasn't injured all the time. But he's been getting nothing but injuries back and forth. I don't know what his training regimen's like, but a lot of those guys that train over at AKA, it seems like they get injured all the time. I don't know if they're overtraining or what, but it just seems like they're always getting injured. It's like Habib, Cain, DC, all those guys, they just get injured. It's kind of crazy.
Hey, so I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. On the side, don't you do, aren't you handling training for, let's say, upcoming fighters, or what do you do like when you're not, making people tap?
It kind of depends, you know what I mean? I'm a simple person, I really like my life is really indulged into mixed martial arts. But as far as like what I do, I actually teach at my gym for one of the things. So I teach private lessons. I got a bunch of different clients, and I also help my dad teach at the school too. I'll go down to school and I'll teach. But as far as like hobby wise, I play some video games. I like to draw. I'm an artist. I always like to draw. And I also like to go hiking. Actually, believe it or not, I'm a big nature person. I love nature. I think it kind of relaxes me going out in nature and exploring. I love animals. So I'm a pretty simple dude, to be honest with you. I don't have any crazy hobbies. I'm really like, my life is really into martial arts, man. I've been doing martial arts so long. I feel like it's all I know.
Hey, Jess, I want to ask you, was there any words of wisdom from your dad before you went in before you had your match, and then what was the conversation kind of like after when you came on? Everyone was hyped.
I would say going into there, I was really just in the zone. To be honest, I don't even remember what everybody said. I was like, I kind of was just a man on a mission. I would say, like, you know, everybody was just, yeah. When you're back in that locker room, it's kind of like everybody's repeating the same stuff you heard over and over. Like, oh, you got this. You know, you're gonna go in there and kill them. You're gonna go in there and do this or that. What it really boils down to at the end of the day, it's you. I mean, granted, yeah, you got your words of advice. I would say the person who really gave me the words of advice that really helped me going in there, my boy Mikey, he actually even told me, because he's been on that stage a couple times himself, he told me, he said, bro, don't focus on the lights. Just go in there and get the job done. Just focus on your opponent. Don't look at everything else that's going around. He said take it in, but don't focus on it. Focus on the fight. And I think that's kind of like the mindset I went in there with. I didn't go into there, you know, focusing on anybody. I didn't listen to the crowd. The only people I was listening to were my coaches. You know, maybe I heard some of my friends in the audience calling out different stuff to go for, but I was focused on getting the win. That's that.
Dude, that's great, man. That's really great. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out. We're going to definitely stay in touch. Just as I said we would a few months ago, that we want to kind of track this, because I want to be one of the few or one of the many who could say, hey, I knew him before he was actual champ.
That's it.
So,
absolutely.
Definitely. So along with that, man, hey, all the best to you and your family. It was an exciting time. Can't wait for you to get back in there. And if you were fighting local, I mean, next time, why don't you put in Bellator there? Come on out to Nassau Coliseum. That's walking distance for me. I won't have to drive 2 hours. Be good, my friend.
I'll let you know. For sure, man.
All right, be good, my friend. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me out. Peace out.